Welcome, everybody, to this week's edition of Valpo Football Weekly, brought to you by Lakeshore Bone and Joint Institute. Brandon Vickery with you. Glad to be joined via Zoom by the head coach of the Valpo football team, Landon Fox. And Coach, let's talk about Saturday's game against Butler, and to not only win the rivalry game and win the Hoosier helmet, but to do it with some supporters in the stands, as you were able to this time have a limited capacity and some parents and pass list members, some alumni and students. What was it like to share that moment with those who were at Brownfield on Saturday?
Yeah, I was just happy for our players. Obviously, it's been a long year in terms of diversity and just their ability to play football, and their parents to be able to come see them, and friends and family. And it was nice to have their support, and obviously then to be able to share the victory with them, was second to none in terms of, my son being there and having him to be at a game and watch the game, and then to be able to celebrate with him afterward. I mean, obviously I'm happy for our players and their families to be able to have that experience.
Seems like Keon Turner has made a big play in every game so far this season, and perhaps none bigger than on Saturday. 6 minutes left in the game, makes a key interception that leads to a short field and a touchdown. Just how big was that play? And he's named PFL Co-Defensive Player of the Week. How big has the play of Keon Turner been as a freshman for you so far this season?
Yeah, I would just say I'm excited too, just all in terms of the recognition that we've gotten through the league. With Ben Eisner a week ago, and to now Keon Turner and Robert Washington. And so it's exciting for the program to have that recognition amongst the league, and recognize that obviously Valparaiso football team has some really good football players. And so that's exciting. But in terms of Keon Turner, the one thing that he does very well is he's a very, very intelligent football player, understands the game extremely well, especially for a freshman. And then he puts himself in position to make plays. And when they come to him, he's made them. So it's been really exciting to see him grow so fast in such a short period of time.
And you mentioned Robert Washington. Let's talk about the rushing game. You run for 220 yards and 120 from Robert Washington, 94 from Chris Duncan. How were you able to move the ball on the ground so effectively on Saturday?
Yeah, it's just a combination of, the ability to have Robert run the ball. And when that happens, it's going to open some stuff for the quarterback to be able to have some keeps in there and be able to run the ball off of the action that Robert Washington's given. And so it's a 1-2 punch with him and Robert. And so worked well in terms of combination together.
Butler scored early in the second half, and you're down 17-7, about 10 minutes left in the third. What's the conversation like on the sideline at that point, and how do things turn around where you score the next 21 unanswered?
Yeah, I would just say I'd give credit, to our team. So excited for our football team that just the composure that we've been able to develop over a short period of time since, our staff took over, and never really rattled. Just, hey, here's what's happening out there. Knew that we could play better football, I'd say, especially on the defensive side of the ball. Hey, here's our adjustments. Here's what we have to do. And, kind of settled in, and, they were still able to move the ball. We created some turnovers. But it was fun to see. It's a tough team in terms of their ability to handle those situations. So I was very excited about that.
Let's talk about maybe the closing minutes or closing seconds of the game. In a rivalry game like that, you knew the other team's going to kind of fight back, and they do, and go downfield and score. And you're able to make that final play, recover the onside kick. Just kind of take me through that moment from your standpoint in closing out the game.
Yeah, again, I'd say defensively, we did a lot of things that we asked. And I mean, that drive started with almost 6 minutes left, and they scored with a minute. Now, we didn't do some things when we got them, near the goal line area. That's a defensive advantage, in my opinion, because they had to throw the ball, and so, they ended up scrambling for a 13-yard touchdown. If you get it on the ball on the ground a couple more times, you have a chance to put the game away there. But we didn't, and so we had to rely on our special teams to get to recover the onside kick. And it was kind of crazy too, because at that whole time that you have the onside kick, I'm confident in our guys that, hey, we're going to be able to execute this. But at the same time, the rain's starting to come down, and wind gusts, picking up. But our guys just went out there, and it's just as we prepared, all week in terms of, we work on that on Thursday, we're working on Friday, and so they went out and executed really well.
As we look ahead, and not only has Valpo not beaten Drake since 2003, but the program has never won a game at Drake. As you lead into the game this week, what adjustments do you have to make from the last matchup with them, and what are the keys as we lead into Saturday?
Yeah, it's this execution, and the one thing that we didn't do last time we played them was executing, and and I'd say that was shown by our lack of being able to put the ball in red zone goal line areas, and had opportunities to do it, and we didn't execute down there. And we cut a guy loose to make a play on the goal line. Don't give ourselves a chance to put it in the end zone. And so execution, but they're a physical team. So we're going to have to match that physicality, and then they do a good job in terms of keeping their composure. And hey, this is what's happening in the game. They're not going to get rattled. So regardless of what the situation may be, we're just going to have to do the same thing and match their intensity level and their focus, and then even go above and beyond. And I think the guys are up to the challenge. When they hear that 6,000 days and having one out, I mean, we talk about embracing a rivalry game. We're going to embrace that. Like we're not going to run from that. We're excited about that opportunity to go out and play.
There he is, the head coach of the Valpo football program, Landon Fox. Once again, it'll be Valpo and Drake on Saturday after a big win, winning the Hoosier helmet this past weekend. Valpo will look to go to 3-1 in conference play this week. You can follow the game with all the coverage links on valpoathletics.com and follow us on social media as always. We'll talk to you again next week. And this has been Valpo Football Weekly, and it's brought to you by Lakeshore Bone and Joint Institute.